on ESPN.
Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest. The weekly national report on thoroughbred racing is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Thrifty Car Rental. Thrifty is a lot of car rental company for incredibly little. By Lane's End Farm, sponsor of the Thoroughbred Digest Trainer of the Month Award. And by the Naira Net, the New York Racing Association simulcasting network.
And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln with a welcome to the Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest show on ESPN. Our headline story, the announcement of the best in thoroughbred racing for 1989, the Eclipse Award winners. They're selected by members of the National Turf Riders, the Daily Racing Forum, and the Thoroughbred Racing Associations. Well, the top owner of 1989, Ogden Phipps, the New York-based Phipps stable with 27 race wins in just 82 starts, earnings of more than $5 million. His headliner, of course, the Belmont Stakes winner Easy Goer and Breeders' Cup Sprint champion Dancing Spree. The top Breeder of the Year award went to North Ridge Farm and its master there, Mr. Franklin Groves. The farm bred such standouts as Champion Blushing John, Sabona, Ruhlman, and Trumpets Blair. The outstanding apprentice jockey goes to young Maryland-based rider Mike Lucy, the national apprentice leader in races 1. And a special Eclipse Award of Merit will be presented to the retiring publisher of the Daily Racing Forum, Michael Sandler. He served as publisher of the Forum for the past 16 years. And now we recognize the real stars of the Sport of Kings, the Eclipse Award-winning equine champions of 1989, with a special musical salute. Our special salute to the 1989 Eclipse Award winners. Our thanks to NBC Sports, SMTI, and the Breeders' Cup for help on that feature. And the 3 remaining Eclipse Awards for trainer, jockey, and of course the big one, Horse of the Year, will be announced live on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Saturday, January 27th from Santa Anita Park. Stay with us for our feature, Breeders' Cup Race of the Week. That's coming up next. Well, now let's get to the races as we start with the Breeders' Cup Feature Race of the Week.
This week's feature race is brought to you by the Breeders' Cup, Promoting racing year-round with the Breeders' Cup Budweiser Special Stakes Program, the new Premium Stakes Program, and Breeders' Cup Day, racing's $10 million championship.
Well, our feature race on that beautiful new turf course at Santa Anita. It's the San Gorgonio Handicap, Grade 2, $125,000 at it. A firm turf for the fillies and mares 4 and up, going a mile length, and a big field. Let's take a look now. It starts with Colorado Dancer at 7-2 with Lafitte Pinkai. Invited Guest with Russell Bays at 24. Ceros Brig at 12. Baba Cool, the 4-horse, was scratched. Then it's Heather and Rose. Stylish Star has McCarran. Darby's Daughter with Robbie Davis from the Bobby Frankel barn. Silver Lane, Patrick Valenzuela has them out there. Rounding out the field, White Mischief, Nikishka, and Uladine. For the call now of the San Gorgonio, here's Trevor Denman at Santa Anita.
Runners in the San Gorgonio sent on their way. They came away to an even line. Going to the lead is Saros Briggs. Stylish Star is right there. Nikishka on the outside. There goes Silver Lane in the green, now pulling her way up to the lead. Uladine tucking in just behind the leaders. Behind that, Darby's Daughter, Heather and Rose down at the rail. White Mischief was forced to drop back shortly after the start. She's 8 lengths off the leaders. Then Invited Guest, Colorado Dancer, content to trail early, 12 off the leader. They go to the 7/8 pole, and Saros Briggs setting a fast pace out there, draws off to lead it by 3 lengths. Stylish Star scrapes the paint in second. Silver Lane alongside of her. Nikishka is racing in 4th, 5 off the leader. Then comes Darby's Daughter. Uladine is in 6th. She's got 6 lengths to make up. They're taking closer order now. Then comes White Mischief, Heather and Rose behind her. Invited Guest is 10 lengths off the leaders. Another 4 back to Colorado Dancer. They go to the half-mile pole. Saros Briggs trying to slow them down, but Stylish Star's going up, and the pace quickens again up there. Silver Lane is right there in 3rd. Nikishka is in 4th. Darby's Daughter holding her own down at the rail. Uladine is in 6th position with 4 lengths to make up. In behind that, White Mischief, Invited Guest, Heather and Rose. Colorado Dancers picking it up, 10 off the leader. A quarter of a mile to go. Saros Briggs, Stylish Star, Nikishka on the outside. Heads a turn for home. Nikishka, Stylish Star, Saros Briggs finding more. Darby's Daughter looking for room. Uladine, here's Colorado Dancer and Invited Guest. 7 of them in a line. Also White Mischief in the red cap coming flying. White Mischief, Invited Guest on the outside. Invited Guest, White Mischief, Uladine. Invited Guest to win it. Invited Guest has won it from...
A big win for Invited Guest, owned by a good friend of ours, R.D. Hubbard, the owner of Ruidoso Downs in the Woodlands in Kansas. Invited Guest is by Be My Guest out of Welcome Break, and you see returned a mighty handsome price, $51.60, while equaling the course record, $146.2 to win the San Gorgonio on the turf at Santa Anita. Well, let's take a closer look now at the race, going inside the daily racing form with trackman John White. We'll also hear from rider Russell Bays and Richard Mandela, the trainer, on the long shot winner, Invited Guest.
Well, Invited Guest actually had a pretty good trip. While the horses were bunching up on the far turn, as they often do in these turf races, she rallied well wide. Although she lost a lot of ground, she was able to have clear sailing, and because of the clear sailing, she was able to never get stopped and was able to come roaring down the stretch for the win.
Well, I thought we had a chance in there. You know, there was a lot of speed in there to set it up for her. She's come from behind horse, and I didn't see any reason why we couldn't beat those horses. You know, they all looked like on a given day you could beat them. And, I didn't really expect the kind of odds that we were. You know, I just couldn't understand her being that long a shot. The plan was to just bury her right away from the gate. You can't let her get running or she'll run off and burn herself up the first part of it. And then we, you know, just angled and looked for a spot on the outside, and she finished real good that last quarter mile.
Where do you go from here, Dick?
We'd planned to send her right home, and she's going to be bred to Blushing Groom this year. So I'll need to talk to Mr. Hubbard, and we'll probably extend her career just a little bit longer here.
Well, the Invited Guest White Mischief exacted, by the way, at Santa Anita returned $2,287. We'll be back. A lot more racing, so stay with us on the Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest. Well, back on the rail, we got your spot to watch some of the top races around the country this past week as we go to our National Thoroughbred Racing recap. And let's get started down in Florida at Calder RaceHorse. It's the first stake of Calder's week-long Winter Festival of Racing for Kenny No's race facility there. It's the Grade 2 La Previante for fillies and mares on the turf. Now leading the field from the beginning is Princess Moa, but right there with her is Herb McCauley on Yesterday's Kisses. Phil Saltzman calls them home.
On the inside, Princess Moa by a half length. Yesterday's Kiss is second. Kuluin tucked in on the hedge is third as Black Tulip angles off the hedge and comes after the leader with Judy's Red Shoes on the outside. They come toward the furlong pole. Yesterday's Kisses now has the lead by a length. Princess Moa a week in second. Black Tulip on the outside with Kuluin between horses. They're in the final 16. Yesterday's Kisses on the outside, on the inside. On the outside, it's Black Tulip. Yesterday's Kisses hangs on.
Yesterday's Kisses officially by a neck. The 4-year-old daughter of DeCord out of the mare Roll Rights is trained by John Hertha for Aikendale Farm. The next day's feature at Calder, the 7-furlong, $75,000 Sunny Isle Handicap for 3-year-olds and up. While the 5-2 late-running favorite Carborundum is still nowhere to be seen. Cobble View Stables Groomstick is on the lead, with Mom's Ferrari just inside of him in the yellow silks of Judy Moss.
They're inside the furlong pole. Groomstick with Mom's Ferrari alongside. 2 lengths to the inside. It's Sweet Bobby V. Then the red rolls. They come toward the 8th pole. Groomstick on the outside. Still there now by a half length. Mom's Ferrari battles back toward the rail. It's a length and a half to the red rolls with Sweet Bobby V on the far outside. Carborundum with a late run. They come to deep stretch. It's Groomstick. Carborundum flying on the outside. Groomstick's the winner.
That big late run by Heritage Farms Carborundum, not quite enough to catch the gray horse Groomstick. The 4-year-old son of runaway groom out of the mare Dame Francesca is trained by Luis Olivares. Not all the New York Stakes horses are in Florida for the winter. As you've seen last Saturday's Grade 3, $75,000 Aqueduct Handicap at the Big A, a mile and a 16th. Veterans such as King Swan, It's Asenevic, and Congalure square off in the second greatest stakes at Aqueduct this year.
Windchill joined now by Congalure. Congalure on the outside of Windchill. Those two have 2 on King Swan, third by a length. On the rail is Kunjar. On the outside of Kunjar is Silver Survivor. Farther out, it's Acidemic, still far back. They pass the 8th pole. Congalure gets the lead by a head. Windchill on the rail, second by a length and a half. King Swan is third and gaining ground. Past 16th pole. Congalure has a lead. On the outside is King Swan, but Congalure is in front.
The first added money stakes winning Congalure's 44-race career. That in itself may not seem particularly unusual until you look at Congalure's career earnings more than $500,000. The 5-year-old gelding by L'Angelure out of the mare Double Dare Ya, ridden in the Aqueduct Handicap by Angel Cordero Jr., trained by Richard O'Connell for owners longtime New York City buddies John Caputo and Joe Russo, who put together $30,000 to buy Congalure. Sunday's Aqueduct feature, the 6-furlong Palmanock Handicap for 3 and up, a reunion of sorts for True and Blue. Pock to Pock and Teddy Drone ran against one another in an overnight handicap 2 weeks ago. Also in the field, never forgotten, in Garema. They were 1st and 3rd respectively in the December 17th Graves Inn Handicap.
Pock to Pock joined on the outside by Teddy Drone. Those two heads apart approach the 8th pole together, have about 2 on a closing True and Blue. They pass the 8th pole. Pock to Pock again gets the lead. Teddy Drone on the outside, back into second. True and Blue is third, still moving up. Gaining ground on the rail is Never Forgotten. Pock to Pock, Teddy Drone on the inside, Never Forgotten, to the wire.
On the wire, it's Jose Santos getting True and Blue up by a nose. The Bay Gelding's 3rd consecutive win. The victory brings the son of Hurry Up Blues earning to over $500,000 for owner Barbara Davis and trainer Gaspar Mochara. Now to Santa Anita, the last race of this week's recap. 6-furlong, Grade 3, Los Flores Breeders' Cup Handicap for fillies and mares. Leading into the stretch is Warning Zone. Watch out for Stormy But Valid in the blue and green, and Survive on the outside in the goal coming after her. With the call now, the Los Flores Breeders' Cup Handicap. Here's track announcer Trevor Denman.
Warning Zone, Stormy But Valid, yes, Survive with a late run in the gold on the extreme outside, flying. Stormy But Valid, Survivors coming like an express train at her. Stormy But Valid hanging on, Survivors flying. Stormy But Valid is Survive. They go to the wire, Stormy But Valid ahead.
Trevor calls it Stormy But Valid, holding off. Artie Hubbard survived to take the Los Flores by a head. Stormy but Ballad is a 4-year-old bay filly by Valid Appeal out of the mare Stormy Pursuit. The trainer, California-based Brian Mayberry, the rider, the veteran Eddie Delahousse. Well, those are the top races. We've got some top stories coming up. We'll join Bruce Cassell at Keeneland for the first big sale of 1990 and join Mike Wilman out in California for the profile of our December Trainer of the Month award winners. Stay with us. Well, we're going to take you now to Keeneland in Lexington, Kentucky, where one of the Thoroughbred Racing's top money-earning mares was sold, and our man Bruce Casella was there with the report.
Chris, it's the first sale of the new decade here at Keeneland as horses of all ages went through the sales ring. With the 90s, there is great optimism of a much steadier market than that of the 80s.
Early in the 80s, we had the fantastic prices. Seemed like the sky was the limit. And then realism set in, and we saw the prices slide slightly. But hopefully they've found a solid level now, and we'll go into the 90s with a good firm standard for the market.
This year's January sale broke out of the gate much slower than last year, but the stock is said to be first quality, and who knows, there may be a future champion in the ring. It's happened before.
Well, you had John Henry. And oddly enough, he went through the sale twice. They sold him as a yearling for $1,100. They brought him back the next year, and the man doubled his money. He brought $2,200. John Henry was sold, and he was resold several times before he wound up with the Rubens. And then, of course, everybody, the story. You know the story from there. He went on to be one of the very outstanding horses of the 80s.
The two headliners of the sale sold on Tuesday. Hip number 501 was Wishing Well, the dam of 3-year-old champion Sunday Silence. The 15-year-old mare is in full with a full sibling to Sunday Silence. The price paid, $525,000. Hip number 626 was one of the top female stars racing today. Goodbye Halo. The 4-year-old sold for $2.1 million to the Japanese. Her former owner, Arthur Hancock, had fond memories.
Hate to see her go, but somebody, that can afford to own her needs to own her. Be like me wearing a $50,000 wristwatch around. I just can't afford to do it. And you think back on the Oaks and all her great races, and makes you sad, but who knows, maybe I'll be able to buy one of her daughters one of these days.
After the sale, her new owner said Goodbye Halo will be retired and bred in Japan. Bruce Casella for the Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest.
Thank you, Bruce. And as the search for our first Lanes Inn Trainer of the Month award winner in 1990 is underway, we want to bring you a feature profile on that December winner, Dave Hoffman's. Let's go to California now and Mike Wellman.
The month of December proved the high point of an incredibly successful 1989 for Dave Hoffman's. In addition to being the leading trainer at the recently concluded Hollywood Park Fall Meeting, Hoffman saw two of his most promising youngsters develop into stakes winners. First it was Individualist in the Hollywood Preview, and then it was Tarascon's turn in the $75,000 San Miguel at Santa Anita.
Yes, it was a great month, probably the best month I've ever had, and it is an honor. And I feel very fortunate to be awarded this from Lanes End Farm, which is one of the biggest and best breeding operations in Kentucky.
Although all systems now appear to be go and the future bright, the 1980s weren't entirely kind to David Hoffman's.
Well, the 80s did start out really well for me with French Legionnaire and another horse called Peregrinator, who won the San Bernardino Handicap at Hollywood Park and a few other stake races. That was in the early 80s. And then, I don't know, maybe I got burned out. I was been in the business a long time and lost a few clients and got down on horses and really had to make a decision on what I wanted to do. I had to figure out a way where I could be successful in this business and successful with my family, because my family is very important to me. And it seems that that is happening now.
Hoffman's family is important to him not only in his personal life, but at the barn as well. His 19-year-old son, Grant, is now his chief assistant.
Well, Grant has really been a boost to me. Not only is he my son, and I love him dearly, and I love working with him, but he's a very good horseman, and he's learning all the time, and he has a very even temper, and he gets along with the people well here in the barn and with the clients, and he's learning this business. If he decides to stay in this business, I think he'll be very successful.
Congratulations to the entire Hoffman's family. Well, before we go to the break, the Thoroughbred Racing Communications Group wants to give you fans a chance to buy these T-shirts of 1989's top racing rivalry, Sunday Silence and Easy Goer. Now, each T-shirt sells for $10 plus $3 postage and handling per order. Send your check to TRC, 40 East 52nd Street, New York, New York 10022, and wear your colors for Sunday Silence or Easy Goer, hoping they'll continue that great rivalry in 1990.
You're watching ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
Well, the Charlestown races worked out its differences with the West Virginia State Racing Commission and horsemen, and they're up and running for 1990. Charlestown, the site for this week's Horse Talk feature from Dave Johnson.
Talking horses at the Charlestown Racetrack in West Virginia with Ann Hilton. Ann, as a horse owner, you've decided to do a little something different with your winnings.
Yes, I decided a few years ago to start a scholarship for students whose parents are employed at the Charlestown races. And it's just the local college, Shepherd College, and I've helped 5 students so far. One is a doctor, trying to be a doctor. One is going into computers. One is in journalism. And I hope it will continue for a few more years.
Why did you do this? Why did you set up this scholarship fund?
I've been in racing my whole life, and it's been...
Your family in racing?
Yes, my dad was a trainer, and I've always been in racing. And I've won a few races and enjoyed this life, and I thought maybe it was time to pay back a little bit. And I thought if I started this, maybe we could get something going and help a lot of kids.
And do you think that folks out there from other racetracks in other states could do the same thing, and should they?
Oh, yes, certainly. I think any track could get it established, and I think it would be really a fine idea all over the country.
So Ann Hilton sending folks to college whose folks work at the racetrack.
That's right. I think anybody who would try to do that would be very satisfied, as I am.
I think so, too. Take a tip from Ann Hilton, not about the horses, but about scholarships. More Horse Talk next week.
We're looking forward to being in Los Angeles this Sunday to host a special roast for Hall of Fame trainer Charlie Whittingham. It benefits the California Equine Retirement Foundation in their first awards banquet. The gala event to be held at the Sheraton Grand Hotel in L.A. Sunday will feature roasters like Bill Shoemaker, Arthur Hancock, Jack Van Berg, and Angie Dickinson. A couple of California notes. Charlie Whittingham is walking Sunday Silence in the shed row under tack and with the rider on. Plans to continue that process until about February 16th. That'll be 90 days since his arthroscopic knee surgery, then back in training for Sunday Silence. Congratulations, D. Wayne Lucas, with 2 Eclipse Award winners this year. Now goes to a total of 13. Becomes the all-time leader in that category, moving past Woody Stevens with 11. Well, that's it this week on the Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest Show. See you same time next week here for the best in thoroughbred racing. So long, everyone.
Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest, the weekly national report on thoroughbred racing, has been brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By the Breeders' Cup, racing's $10 million championship. And by the Illinois Department of Agriculture, promoting Illinois-bred horses year-round. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 700 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. Statistics courtesy of the Daily Racing Form, America's Turf Authority. This has been an ESPN Sports presentation.